Welcome to Seeing Scarlet. It is Shelby here with Tyler, and we are here for our Monday recap episode. We're actually recording it on Sunday night. Whoa, a little bit of a schedule change, it happens sometimes. We watched Texas Tech soccer just win 2-1 over Utah State earlier today, and Utah State's a good soccer program. If for some reason it's your first episode, you missed our preview, then you don't know that, but they're a good soccer program, so that's a good win for Texas Tech. We're going to recap that. We're going to recap football. Do we live in a rainforest?
Yes.
I'm beginning
100%.
to question if I actually left North Carolina and now live in West Texas, or if I'm still in North Carolina. Because what is going on with this weather? But we will talk about the game once it got underway. And then also, volleyball is finally home. Maybe that will help them get on track, headed into Big 12 play very soon. So that's what we got on the docket today. No basketball recruiting updates right now. But what I will say is head on a swivel. And if you're like, why do I need to have my head on a swivel? Jump back one episode and listen to us talk about some recruits that were on campus this week. That's all I got for you for now, but stay tuned, subscribe, because we'll have information on recruiting and everything else as we move forward. And just subscribe. There's got to be some of y'all that aren't subscribed because you're like not logged in or whatever, and I get that it's a pain, but it really helps us. So if we give you even like an ounce, a bit of joy a day, or like, oh, I didn't know that information. That was great information. The way you can say thank you is simply by signing in and hitting the subscribe button. It's completely free. So it's my bi-monthly request. All right, that's all I got, Tyler. How's it going?
Yeah. And to piggyback off of what you're saying, guys, I gave y'all a hint about the whole,
He did.
maybe why
He was the first
volleyball
to tell you.
wasn't at home. I told y'all first, and then I kid you not, the day after we recorded our show, someone leaked the information that Texas
Podrick
Tech has
Gotcher,
a
former
new,
player, now
yes,
coach.
Podrick Gotcher. Yes, now, yes, him. He posted the photo of the new court, and it has the old double T logo. It
Snazzy.
looks sharp. Yes, I absolutely love it. I've been team go back to the old double T. I don't have anything against this one, but
Level to
the
bevel.
throwback, yeah, level to bevel. It looks so nice. But yeah, that was what I was hinting at. So we do tell y'all things early here. Y'all just gotta subscribe because then you'll find out. So you can't say I didn't tell you. You knew about a change coming
That's true.
to the USA. So
I would say
just gonna leave
us
that there.
and I don't want to leave someone out, but I think probably us and Locked On Tech are the only Texas Tech podcasts where
Yes.
both co-hosts are working in the Texas Tech space in some form. Chris Level, Red Raider Sports, where I work as well, my boss, shout out him, and Casey Cowan, who does PA at Texas Tech, does media all over town. They do Locked On. Obviously, we're like, I would say younger version of that, but I'm probably not much that younger. But Tyler's much younger as he's a student and works in marketing. So we actually are here, boots on the ground. We're working, we're at the events. So we do know what we're talking about. And we're not just spitting bullshit. So that's the reason you should follow.
That is correct.
That is correct. All right, Tyler. Speaking of working, we just came from soccer. So that was fun. Got a 2-1 win. Was a little interesting though because we didn't score in the first half. Second game in a row
Right.
that has happened, but unlike the last one, we didn't score first. And this is the first time that we gave up a goal this year and then we're able to bounce back because we immediately, 3 minutes later, y'all, 3 minutes later, before we could even get upset, tied it and then scored a little bit later to take the lead. Both off of set pieces, which we told you is how you beat Utah State on Friday. They don't give up a lot of run and play goals, but they gave up 2 set pieces, a corner and a PK. Arguably should have had another PK in this, but they finally gave us one. And that's how we ended up scoring. Macy Blackburn to Taylor Strudeski. What else is new?
Right.
Macy Blackburn, Texas Tech's Macy Blackburn, leads the country, y'all. The best soccer player in the country. I mean, we're biased when we say that, but she's definitely top 5 in the country overall. Best in the country at service. You will not find someone better at her. She leads the country in assists per game. After tonight,
Let's go,
and
Macy.
Taylor, her little partner in crime, is now 7th in the country in goals per game with 7. 7 games, 7 goals. Macy is up to 8 assists in 7 games.
Wow.
Eking up on her own single season record. So, fun facts there. So that's kind of how it went. Faith Wynn had her most saves of the season with 5. some really good ones. One where she jumped up really high. We posted a picture of that. Another one where she got it and hit it off the post to save a goal. And defense was pretty good at recovering because Utah State likes to attack quick for the most part. They did get one goal in. We'll talk a little bit about that and have a quote from Tom on what he thought happened as well. But overall, got the win. You'll love it, Tyler.
Yeah, it was definitely a good win to have, especially knowing that we are able to come back after being down by that one goal. You know, this was a game where we were like, all right, let's see how the first 20 minutes go. Maybe we can get something going. But honestly, it was just kind of like we were having opportunities, lots and lots of opportunities, but it was just we weren't able to capitalize on them. One got really close, like, was it Z that got it?
Off
And
the
it literally,
crossbar,
yeah, off the
which is
crossbar.
how she
I
scored
thought that
later.
was
It went
in.
off the crossbar
Yes.
in the second half too, but it went off
Yeah.
the crossbar and in, and this one went off the crossbar and out.
Yeah.
Very
So,
close.
I mean, luckily though, yeah, we were able to bounce back after that, but we had a lot of good opportunities. And Utah State, I mean, I mean, they were trying. They were really trying and they did get the first punch, but using softball terms, like or as we say in softball season, when we get punched once, we get back up and we punch twice, and that's exactly what we did. And we can
Let's go.
thank that Utah State player. I'm gonna call her out by her name. I have it here
Oh,
in the notes.
bet.
Um, Yes, let's
Salty.
see. Oh yes, thanks to a corner kick, or thanks to a foul in the box by Kata Wilson. So thank you, Kata, for making the Utah State Aggies lose to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. We appreciate you giving Peyton Parsons a easy penalty kick. So thank you
You're
for fouling Z
terrible.
in the box. We appreciate this.
Yeah,
Thank
she
you.
did not. I was right there. And as any competitor, she did not think she fouled her. I got a pretty good picture of it, though. And as far as my
You have the
understanding of the
evidence.
rules,
Yeah,
you can make contact with the player, but you have to hit the ball first. And she did it the opposite way. She took Z out and then she hit the
right.
ball. She actually did tackle and she because they were arguing. She's like, it went to the inline. It wouldn't have went to the inline if I didn't touch it. Da 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 da. Was her argument. Which yeah, sure, but you took out Z's legs and then all after that, then you hit the ball. So, but it's very quick. So she might have legitimately thought she got the ball first. It was very close, to be honest, when you look at the pictures in the replay. But it was a PK, and there was one like 10 minutes before where the girl literally locks her leg around Z's right leg
Yeah,
and
that was insane.
straight up tripped her. That one, I don't want to call her out, but that one was almost dirty. This one was just a
Very
soccer
dirty.
play that
Yeah.
she took a chance. The other one, she literally locked her leg around Z, pulled back, and then Z fell forward. That should have been a PK, but it was so sneaky that no one was watching because she was off ball. But I saw it happen, and then I went back and looked at the pictures. Like, no, she has her leg locked around Z's
Yeah.
leg. Anyway, so I think karma played like it came back and got him. So yeah, credit us for keep fighting. Credit Z for taking the punishment because she got a free
Yeah,
kick right outside the
for sure.
box early in the game where she got tackled. People don't know how to handle her, so they just tackle her like legitimately because she's so big, so strong, and she's way faster than people think she is. And so they get a step on her, and then they can't out physical her, they can't catch up to her, and so then they just emergency slide tackle. Sometimes they get the ball, other times they take her out, and this time they took her out. So let's watch the highlights, and then we're gonna have some quotes from Tom. We have a quote from Faith, I think. Maybe a quote from Z. I'm not sure. Eventually, maybe they'll post the whole thing for you. I didn't see it before we started recording, so I just have the quotes from the audio that I captured, but we'll get to that. So these start up with a free kick, and this is that one where Faith got up.
You got a good photo of this too.
Yeah,
If this was
sometimes
that
I
one.
stumble my
Yeah.
way into a good picture every once in a while, and just was in the right place there, and Faith jumped high, as she does. She's got to have the best vertical in the Big 12. I think she's like 5'5", 5'7", maybe. She gets up there. Kicks that right, and they thought she could chip it over. Nope. Here's a corner chance that goes off the post or off the crossbar.
So close.
Yeah, we almost that. It's one of those things that would have changed the game, but that's life. And then we didn't create a ton of other dangerous chances until this very last 4 minutes of the first half. Raleigh Greason was great in this game. And then Macy
Very
almost,
great.
she had a chance right after this. They're going to show a replay of this whole sequence. But really know what Raleigh Greason's like directives are when she goes into the game. But it just seems like, hey, Raleigh, go annoy the shit out of the other team. Like, that just seems like what she's doing out there. Like, just being a complete menace all the time. And she's going to break through for another goal here soon. She had the one in the first game of the year, and she was very close to 2 in this one. I don't even know if the second is in the highlights, but I got a picture of that as well, where she was going down the left side, I think in this, I guess it had to be the first half, because she was going that way. And she almost got around the keeper. And credit their keeper, she made a great diving save. There's our own keeper.
There we go.
Faith got her hand on that, and it hit to the post. Now we're into the second half. This is the first goal. Who else but Macy Blackburn is going to put in? I mean, I think Tom described it as a peach, served it up on a platter, and then Z does the rest. Look how high she gets.
Look at that.
And Tom said after the game, he was like, it's not like they don't know who it's going to. And they just can't stop it because she is so good at getting up and heading it in. She's just, I mean, she can just put it. It reminds me a little bit. I mean, this is high praise for Z, but it reminds me a little bit of the 2023 team, and where you just like early in the season, you just were like, okay, no, I understand this team. Like, don't get stressed. Don't worry. At the end of the game, if we're down or we don't have a lead yet, whatever, it's 0-0. No stress. Macy's going to find Hannah Anderson for a header at some point in this game. That's how the 2023 season went. It's like, we'd score normally, run a play goals, whatever. But if there was a game where we needed a set piece, we needed a corner, it was Macy Blackburn to Hannah Anderson in a big moment, like multiple times that year. It's Z down now. Z's a forward versus a center back, but it's just the truth of what was going on. I'm starting to get those vibes from Macy and Taylor, and that's a good feeling to have, is like some consistency. Like, they're going to figure it out at least. I think they're going to show you a replay.
You definitely want them on their A game coming into conference play this upcoming week.
They're definitely, if anyone on the team is playing close to their ceiling right now, it's those two. I don't think the full team is anywhere near close to their ceiling, which is exciting. But those two, I think, are, in the last few games, have starting to play like consistently very close to who they can be as players, and that's elite players. I mean,
wow. Like,
that keeper was really good, too. I can see why she's only allowed 5 goals all year coming into this. This is... Oh, they don't put the goal in for... I was like, wait, did they actually put Utah State's goal in there? We'll talk about that. We gave up a goal. You can see it's 1-1. Right before the Macy to Z corner. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it happens. Good team. They didn't show up, but Z earned the PK chance that we talked about earlier, and this is Peyton Parsons, calm as ever. I asked her about this after the game winner. I asked her about this after the game because if you're watching it, she kind of took the ball, put it down, took like one breath, and then went. It's like the fastest PK I'd ever seen. Not that I've seen a bunch, but she just didn't like take a long time to think about it. And I asked her, and she's like, yeah, I don't like to think. She said Sam was talking to me, couldn't tell you what she said, don't remember it. I kind of blacked out. I knew what I was going to do. I knew where I was going to go, and I just did it. And you can tell that the keeper guessed right, which is half the battle in these. But she hit it so squarely, she couldn't save it. So that was just a perfect PK. And that is the end of the highlights. So that's kind of how it went. For that, after the game, again, we don't have a clip, so you just got to listen to me read off. But asked Tom Stone how he felt like his team responded both to the first half and to then Utah State scoring like right after the start of the second half. This was his response. He said, we had to respond to 2 different things today. We weren't thrilled with our performance in the first half. It wasn't bad, but we didn't create a ton of chances. Scary chances, I think is what he said. Utah State probably built a little confidence for that. And then after we conceded a goal, it kind of looked like it was just Utah State's goal, but we were not having that. Within 3 minutes, we equalized, which was big time. Macy and Z, Taylor Shajewski, are at their best when the pressure is on. Some of the corners today didn't go where we needed them to, but when we needed it, Macy delivered an absolute peach and Z crushed it home. Santa Clara and Utah State were the best 2 teams that we faced. We knew that going into non-con, and because of our one misstep, this fall we couldn't lose today. We couldn't lose it, and played like a team that couldn't lose it, which was good to see. The misstep being we lost to San Francisco, which is just a bad loss. Taylor Shadesky said that in the post game. She said we lost the game we shouldn't have lost. This non-con, but other than that, we feel pretty good about where we are heading to Big 12. So they're aware of it, and they knew they couldn't lose today. And you like that a team can respond to that. Your coach puts that pressure on you, like, we can't lose. We can't lose this game. Like, we're not trying to beat around the bush. And they said, "You're right, coach. Let's go win." I like that.
Yeah. No, I like that too. And we talked about wanting to get revenge on Utah State after what happened last year
We
over
wanted
there.
revenge. I don't know if the players care about that
Yes.
stuff, but we wanted it.
We wanted the revenge. It ended up working out. And as you said, yeah, we could not drop another game. And there were a lot of moments where I think this team has really just come back and has been resilient and has responded well. I mean, because you can look at games like New Mexico State, where it also took a while for us to kind of get scoring up there until the end, or, this game where we were down 1-0 and we didn't even settle for a draw. We went after it and got that second goal or created opportunity to make that second goal happen. So you definitely like to see that coming from this team. And I think they set themselves up really well heading into conference play. But this game was super important. And this one will help you out whenever the RPI comes out and everything else. Because Utah State, as we said, their only loss to a Power 5 program or a Big 12 program has been to BYU. So that's a respectable loss, obviously. BYU is fighting there with us for number one in the conference. So
And they
definitely
have
glad
it,
that we were able to get that win today.
and they have draws over Kansas this year and
Yes.
Utah. And Kansas is a very impressive one. If anyone's been following this team, you saw what Kansas did in the Big 12 tournament last year. They're having a new
Yes.
coach. I mean, that program is very much on the rise back to their earlier days in soccer. They're back there, and I mean, they took Florida State, who has the number one ranked player in the country on their team, to a draw. Kansas did, and then Utah State drew them as well. So to score 2 goals on Utah State is really the impressive part because they just don't give up goals. BYU
Right.
did that, but BYU has a pretty impressive offense. We did the same, so good on us. I thought we talked about Raleigh Greason. I thought she was really good. I mean, it's only a matter of time before she gets a goal. Another goal to her name. She just has to keep being a menace that way. I appreciated that. I thought Kate Leibel was really steady in this when she got in there. Eleanor Hayes, again, had some pretty good stops. The one goal we gave up, she had a chance to stop it, didn't quite make the play, but she almost bailed us out on that. Having Molly Skrasinski back in the midfield, I don't know, maybe that ends up being a blessing in disguise for this team that we were forced. I don't know if force is the right word, but there were some injuries, moved her to the midfield, Eleanor in at center back. Maybe that'll end up being like, hey, to have Molly back in that position, make us a little bit steadier in the midfield. Who knows? And then our girl, Sam Courtwright, she broke a girl's ankles. I don't know what you call it in soccer, but she did this move where I really hope that the Texas Tech account got video of it. It was like basketball and me would call it like a behind the back crossover, but she did it with her feet. So like she crossed her right foot behind her left foot and then passed the ball that way. And this girl just like fell over, and it didn't turn into a goal or anything, but that's what Sam does. She's really good in close quarters and like does those kind of cheeky things, and she's getting back to that, so that was good to see. And then the big storyline, if you actually follow this team, was walked into the game, Kylie Barr was not on the field, and I was like, whoa, what is going on? Do not give me a heart attack like that. And I'm sure other people that follow the team felt the same way. I know Tyler did. But Lauren Woodruff looked really good in the first half in her role. She's not quite as offensive, like attacking, and you could tell like the timing with the runs and stuff wasn't there. But defensively, she was great. Did a great job. And then in the second half, they put Alana Harry back there. And so I asked Tom about that in the post game. How much time do they have to prepare, like knowing when Kylie was out? And apparently she's just day to day. Sounds like she's okay. Held her out for precautionary reasons. They made the decision yesterday, so the day before the game. So Lauren knew she was going to get her first career start. Redshirt sophomore who missed all of last season injured. Working her way back from injury. Got the start. Played 55 minutes in this. And even Tom said that was too many minutes. He's like, she was playing too good. I should have stopped her at 45. But I got a little greedy and played her 10 more, but she looked great. And then they needed someone else, so they put Alana back there. And he says that in the summer, he was looking around and realized we don't have a lot of depth at outside back. Now you have 2 players that are capable of playing full 90s when they're healthy. And Callie Barr and Macy Blackburn, who are arguably your 2 best players, 2 of your top 5 players for sure. They're going to play a lot of minutes, but who's going to be behind them? Lauren Woodruff. Who else? He said, uh-oh. And so he said, he talked to Alana Harry, who's a midfielder and forward, and she was all about it because she loves flying up and down the flanks, which you saw in this game. He says she's getting better at the defensive part of the job. It is a defender at the end of the day, and she's learning the shape that they play with and all that. But she was excited to get to do that role. He said, my coaches thought I was a little crazy, I think, but you could see it in games. I thought our offense looked better in the second half with her out there.
Yes.
Moving. It looked more like what you get with Kylie. We did give up a goal. I don't think the goal was on her. I don't know. But it came on that side, but I don't even know if she was in the game for that. I can't remember. But at any rate, it did help us offensively for sure. So something to watch. Hopefully we have Kylie back, but it sounds like Alana wanted that role, and to me it's impressive that a player can play that like at every level of the field. And I literally asked him that. I was like, I don't know if I'm easily impressed, Tom, but like, is it as impressive as it seems that a player can kind of play at every level in a lot of positions? And he's like, well, we wouldn't play her at center back, but yeah, like it is, she can play midfield, she can play forward, and now she's playing back there. The defensive part of it's still coming to her, but yeah, so that was interesting. That was kind of the storyline within the game, is that Kylie sounds like she's all right. Just held her out for rest, precaution. Hopefully she'll be all right for Big 12. But it was good to see Lauren Woodruff, who's a very good player. We've talked about her on the show before. Get a chance. And then Alana Harry is playing everywhere on the field, Tyler. She'll do it all.
Yes.
So good for her. So that was interesting.
Yeah, no, they looked really good out there. Whenever they got their minutes, obviously we need them to step up big as we're heading into conference play. But definitely, yeah, Lana playing outside back, I thought that was interesting, and we'll see where it shapes up as the season progresses.
Yeah, you put some stats in here. You want to read off those ridiculous stats
Oh,
that the
yes,
team
yes.
posted?
Also, first thing to follow up on your thing, it's called a Rabona. When Sam did her kick behind the thing in soccer,
Thank
it's
you.
called a Rabona. Rabona. And I
Not a
probably said
behind the
that
back
wrong,
crossover.
but
It's fine.
Rabona behind the back cross. Yeah, all right. Anyway, but these are some insane stats that the team posted out today and updated us on. So they've had 15 straight non-conference home wins. Shout out to the fans. They could not have done that without y'all by their
Big
side.
facts.
But 15 straight non-conference home wins is huge. We've had some big opponents roll through here, Power 5 opponents, if you will, Power 4 now, I guess. But that's huge. And then they are 40-0-1, one tie when scoring twice since 2022. That one tie, guys, was against BYU in 2023 at BYU.
That
Pretty
was fun. That
impressive.
was
I
a
mean,
fun
that tie is
game. Yeah.
almost a win, honestly. Like, let's
No,
be real.
yeah, BYU was top 5 and went to the College Cup that year. So yeah, that is
Yes,
basically
yes.
a win.
Basically a win. So undefeated, well, it is undefeated technically.
Yeah,
And then they are 29-1-1 when Macy tallies a point. And I don't know when the one loss was because it doesn't feel like when
I
Macy tallies a
do.
point we lose. But what was the
You
loss?
know when the one loss was? The heartbreaking loss to BYU to end last year. Macy Blackburn had that
Oh, you're
assist to
right.
Taylor
Ah,
Shajewski,
yes.
and we thought that was going to be the winner, and then BYU came
Yeah.
back to tie it, and then they got that cheap goal at the very end, and we lost. Otherwise, it would
Yeah.
have been a draw, and her record would be undefeated as well. But
Right.
what I will say on
Oh,
that note
wow.
is someone asked me today's game, which I love. I love this. We have gotten people watching soccer. It's the reason I do this. We're not soccer experts, first of all, obviously. I do my best. I cover them in a little bit of more of an official capacity now, so I watch soccer. I do all the things. I'm trying, right? I think that's all you can do. I'm never gonna pretend to be a soccer expert, but I love that people watch our show and then they're like, "This is a fun sport," and then they go watch the games. Ran into a person tonight that was doing that. They've been to a few games this season. They're like, "Thanks so much for the show," and blah blah blah. I was like, "Yeah, of course, no problem." And then they said, "Do you really think this team has a chance to win the Big 12?" I said, "Well, yeah, of course." And I was like, unbiasedly, of course. And I said, I don't think they're favored to win the Big 12. TCU's going to be up there. BYU's looking good. Baylor is undefeated right now. That's a really big test. We'll preview that later in the week. But when you have a player like Macy Blackburn on your team, who, in my opinion, and I don't even think I'm biased when I say this, is the best player in the Big 12 because of how elite she is at what she does. I mean, she was ranked the number 3 overall player in the country before the season by Top Drawer. The 2 people ahead of her were not Big 12 players, so I don't even think that's crazy for me to say. When
No,
you have
it's
a
not.
player that elite who's just better than everyone else on the field when she steps out there, you can beat anybody, right? If everybody else just does their job. And it's not like we don't have other really good players. Taylor Strzelecki's getting into the elite category. She is elite at headers and finishing on corners. And when you have an elite service player in Macy, I'll argue with anyone. I said this last year. She's the best service. Like, no one does service like Macy as consistently as she
No
does
one.
from anywhere on the
Yeah.
field. Corners, midfield, even throw-ins. She's perfect on those too, right? She's so consistent. When she does what she can do, that only she can do, and put it at that perfect angle in that perfect spot, and when Taylor Strzelecki does what she can do, be so tall, so powerful, and can jump that high and finish that well with her, like as a header, even there's 5 people around her, you can beat anybody. So when you have a player like that, yes, you're a contender for that reason. And then you have plenty of other good players. I mean, Sam Courtwright's an All-American, right? Coming back from injury, but we saw her break a girl's ankles in this game. Peyton Parsons, sleeping giant, she's doing work in the midfield. You have Molly Skarsinski, president of her fan club, right? You have Raleigh Greason being a menace. Emma Torres is great too. Well, hopefully we'll see, she had a little bit of an injury. We'll see how she recovers from that. But you have those players that are doing their job and setting up the corners so that Macy can do what she does and Z can do what she does. And then they're going to start scoring goals too. Like, I don't know. That's my answer to that is, yeah, we're contenders because you have elite players and other teams don't. Right? There's going to be a couple of teams that have players they feel that way about, but they don't have Macy Blackburn. They don't have Taylor Strzelecki. They have players that do their own things well, but they don't have players that can stop that. This is the if Macy does what she can do to her most ability, and Z does what she can do to her most ability. There was times tonight where the corner was a little off or whatever, and they're not robots. It's going to happen. But when it's to what they can do, we're going to score. Right? Like, we don't have to, like, get lucky. We don't have to pull some rabbit out of our to score. Like, we have that on the team. So, that, yeah, of course we can win the Big 12. And not to mention, we've almost won it 2 years in a row. We were 1 game away, that BYU game I talked about, from being back-to-back champs. We have the best record of anybody in the Big 12 over the last 2 years. So, BYU included. TCU included. So, why not us? Go do it. That's what I say. So hopefully they can get it done. A big one on Friday. We'll talk more about that, but that is a big game heading into Big 12 play. I think the team is excited to turn the page and get into conference for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to turn the page and get into conference play now. I mean,
For sure.
it's exciting when you're in the Big 12, like when we're a team that definitely, as you said, is in the Big 12 title race, and you're just watching like all these other teams play, all these non-conference opponents, and you're trying to like do that math where you're like, all right, well they beat them, and we also beat a team that played them, blah blah blah. But now we can just figure it out. So
Yeah,
let's
there's
just get into it.
are we
Super
okay?
excited. Yeah,
No,
right.
we'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, we can figure it out. But yeah, as I said, we set ourselves up, I think, really great with this Utah State win at home. And yeah, we're going to go into
Had to have
Waco
it.
and do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're in a better spot than we were last year, heading into Big 12 play. We
I
had 2
agree,
losses
100%.
in non-con.
Yes.
I don't think this team is anywhere near their ceiling, which, like I said earlier, is exciting in a lot of ways. But they're not so far away that, like, oh God, what's going to happen? Like, they're playing pretty good soccer. And I think Macy and Z are consistently playing near their ceiling. And if we can get more players kind of there with them, because we have some players with really high ceilings on this team, and as they keep getting comfortable with each other and playing with each other, I mean, keep getting 10 corners a game or whatever they're averaging, a little under that. I feel pretty good about scoring, and then the defense just has to do their job. I mean, you saw the stat. I mean, can we score twice and
Yes,
get
literally.
some draws or some wins, Baylor's going to test that because I think they've only allowed 2 goals on the entire season. So we'll see. But we'll talk about that more later in the week. So go soccer. Good work. Into football. I was there for 12 hours on Saturday.
Yep.
If I sound tired, it's because I am. No. Everybody else that was working was too, so I have nothing to complain about. But get there for the game, then we have a delay. Doesn't even start really until 5:30 after supposed to starting at 2:30. I mean, it kind of started at 2:30 for like 6 plays and then like a 2-hour delay basically, and then we came back dominant. I mean, from the jump when we had the full crowd there, they had 2 false starts. Arizona State had 2 false starts on their first drive. Imagine if we had the full
Oregon
crowd the whole
State.
game. I mean, sorry, Oregon State.
Yes.
Uh, whoever they were playing
Yeah.
had
Right.
2 false starts on the first drive, and then they couldn't get the ball past like 1 yard, punted it. That went like 10 yards. And then we were like driving, and then they called the game, Tyler, or delayed the game, and we all sat there. And Tyler was just there as a student, and the hero
Yeah.
that he is just sat there in the rain for 2 hours trying to get pneumonia.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to, but I'm just saying that no one should have ever, ever since I was a kid, I knew I was going to Tech, but like, no one should have ever second guessed my loyalty. I was like, I'm not giving
Right.
up. We had seats in the second row. I was like, I'm gonna sit here the entire time. I was like, if I see the lightning, then oh well. But I was just really unconcerned, and everyone else around me seemed unconcerned. So we sat there the entire time. Yes, we got like completely soaked on. I didn't realize that there's no drainage like really on the first row of the seat. So I just
Mm.
watched these kids standing in like ankle high water. I mean, we were troopers out there. We were troopers out there. So I'm glad the team was able to pull or obviously get the easy win for us over there. But that's kind of our thing. We saw people run onto the field and get arrested. I mean,
Arrested. Oh my
guys, it was a
gosh.
sight to see. Yes.
Have you seen the TikTok, Tyler?
Oh, of
I,
the song?
the
The song?
song. I'm
Yes,
giving them a
it's
shout out. I
so
don't
good. Yes.
condone running on the field, to be clear. But their friends jokingly made a song about it. Let me see his, someone sent it to me earlier. I can just pull it up so you can go find it on TikTok. But they made a song about their friends getting arrested, and it's like to the tune of some Johnny Cash song, I'm pretty sure. Slade Stone on TikTok. Go look him up. He made a song for his friends that got arrested in the game, and it's so good.
It's
It's
actually really
so great. It's a
like
banger, as the kids say. Play it in the stadium next time someone runs on the field. It's got to be done.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a big time, big moment of the game. Other standouts besides the people that got
Oh, yes,
arrested for
right.
you, who were
Oh, and
there?
Coach Gerlich throwing a tortilla. That was so cool. Like
Yeah,
Coach Gerlich over there leading the tortilla toss. I was like, "All right,
our
coach.
leader.
Our coach is cooler than yours already."
That's true.
Like
Facts. Facts. She's about to get a lot cooler later this week. Wink, wink, nudge,
yes.
nudge.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yep. But yes, other standouts this week. Baron Morton, he really shined in this. Obviously there was like just a few plays and things that he did have an interception and
He's
like
not a
that, but
robot. Yeah.
yeah, he's not a robot. But I mean, he had 464 yards and 23 completions and
On
four
only 23
touchdowns.
completions. Like,
Yes,
someone do the math on that. But
literally.
anyway, bombs.
Very, very, very well. Morton did a very good job, and I'm glad that, they played him last week and had him work through, some of the other things. He looked a lot more sharper in this game, even through the rain and things like that.
For sure.
Rushing game, I don't think it was super prevalent in this. It was more heavy on the air raid, but I will say they came up when we needed them. Like Cameron Dickey, 78 yards and one touchdown, and Jacoby Williams, 53 yards and one touchdown as well. They both had really, really good moments in there, just trying to like, push through on those, third and goals that we were talking about, second and goals, just trying to get some easy runs up there. But I mean, I didn't think that the run game was super. Everyone kept talking about when they showed the stat thing on Jumbotron. Why do we only have like this many rushing yards? And I was like, I don't know.
I
I'm
would just
enjoying the
like to
pass game,
inject
so
on that. The stats
yes.
were like wrong for half the game. And at one point I said we
Okay.
had like a negative rushing yards, and I was like, that's not
Uh,
right. Like, I was in the press box. I was like, that
oh,
can't
okay.
be right. And so,
Yeah, I
which
didn't think it was right, but
in college
true.
there's the stupid rule which they needed to get rid of. They still have the rule that if you get sacked as a quarterback, they take those yards away on rushing. And so
Oh,
we had like 100.
very
Do the
true.
math on that. We rushed for like 140 yards, but
Right,
Barron was sacked once and had an intentional grounding, and that added up to like minus 30 yards or something, which that's all accurate. So
right.
that's not on the running backs.
Okay.
But secondly, there was one drive in the second quarter where every play they ran, no matter if it was +7 yards, +10 yards, the live stats were like Baron Martin rushes for -7 yards. Jacoby Williams, but it was like the system was
Oh, okay.
backwards, and then it took him a
Okay.
while to fix that. And everyone thought I was crazy. And I was like, I don't think it's anything giant, but I swear there's about 20 yards missing for Jacoby Williams in here. Because it was saying at halftime he was -9. I was like, when did he run backwards for 9 yards? That never happened. They
No,
somehow
that
gave
never did
him
happen.
Baron Morton's attention, and I don't know what happened. Anyway, but my man Joey McGuire, in the post game, someone asked him about the rushing, and he was like, well, I'm a little on the stats, so I can't wait till we go back and watch it and see, because I think there's something iffy there, but blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I felt vindicated. I was like, and then they added about 30 yards on to Jacoby after the game to give him 53. So anyway, I think it wouldn't have looked so like we have -11 rushing yards for like the first quarter
Right.
if they had that fixed. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not a football coach. You need to be able to run the ball, but to me, 100 and almost 130 yards rushing on a day where your quarterback throws for almost 500 yards, you can't do
Pretty
both.
good.
Like he was throwing
Right.
70-yard bombs, so we didn't have time to run the ball. And then your running back Jacoby had 116 yards receiving.
Receiving, yes.
So it's not like our running backs were doing nothing. He was just catching the ball. So something to watch. Like it, it wasn't like our running backs weren't producing. It just wasn't solely on the ground. I do think Jacoby
Right.
Williams is clearly our most dynamic back, though. But
Oh,
Dickey was
100%.
breaking dudes' ankles too, so I don't know. But anyway, I think
Yeah.
that was a little overblown. But I get we're trying to nitpick because like we played nobody, and so we're like, oh my god, is that what's gonna bring us down? Is this gonna bring us
Well,
down? And that's fair. Rushing, it was like
I mean, we
we
had
averaged
Tosh
under
Brooks
4.
last year, so like we did a lot of things
Yes,
through the run game too. So
we're a
people
little
need to realize like this
spoiled.
is different. Yes.
Because I think we did average less than 4 yards a carry or something, and that's not great by any means, but I don't know. I'm just like, I'm hesitant to nitpick on that too much because we've been fine there.
Right.
And I didn't see anything terrible. It's just like, what? All of our big plays were through the air, not on the ground. So, but I get it. Anyway, continue. Just wanted to bring that up
Yeah.
because there was a stat error. They fixed it post game.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, because some stuff was looking whack. Now I don't think what was whack was Oregon State had like -9 yards, and then like they only got up to like maybe 13 yards at the end of it for I forget what stat it was. Probably rushed or probably I don't know what it was, but I thought that was kind of cool to see. Like our
Yeah,
defense is really, really, really,
our
really good.
defense is insane, Tyler.
Bryce Pollock, did you see those two interceptions? He had
I
two
did.
interceptions on the night. Like,
Here's my thing
I
with
mean,
Bryce. Great player, but I thought he had some other plays where he recovered well. But I was like, Bryce is having the best. I don't want to say worst game ever, but like the best tough game ever is how I
yeah,
described it. But that's what you want in a player. It was like, yeah, he gave up a couple of big plays, but when he had a chance to make a play on a ball, he did not miss
he
it,
made it.
and he made the
Yes.
play. And that really does make up for giving up some yardage because you just took the ball from them. So by all
Right.
means, go for it. But yeah, he was. It was good to see him out there. Big. He was another transfer that came in. We're gonna need him because we're not super deep there. So I thought
Right.
Balfour on the other side had a good game too, just quieter.
Yes. And then on the receiving side, as you're talking about in the air, first of all, Caleb Douglas, he got his first touchdown of the season. We were talking about 70-yard passes. Barrett Martin threw a dime to Caleb Douglas for 70 yards, and he ran that in for a touchdown.
After the
I mean,
game, they asked Barron about it, and he said, I felt like I was in the end zone before he even got there because I was so excited to go celebrate. And he was like, oh, yeah, five's back, is what Barron said. It was funny. You know they're excited to get him on the board.
yes, we were all saying like, hey, like he was getting some really good catches the past two games, and we said his time was coming, and his time sure did come. So
For
I'm
sure.
super excited to see how much more he'll get this year. And then we had a lot of heavy hitters in the 100 had 100 plus receiving yards. Coy Aiken, he had 6 receptions, 139 yards, and one touchdown.
That was a
Jacoby
dime.
Williams, yes, that was a dime. Coy, I mean. First touchdown of the game, and the way that he was able to hit it on the pylon with his foot, like just perfectly. I mean,
Elite.
they were like, yeah, they didn't even like really. I don't think they even stopped to review it. Like they just went straight to
Yeah,
the extra point. We're all waiting there, like, oh, y'all better hurry and kick this extra point. Like we don't know, but
it
they
was
showed it
impressive.
close
Yeah.
up, and he got it. Very impressive. As you mentioned, Jacoby, 116 yards, 7 receptions, and one touchdown.
His
He
screen,
may not have done much rushing, but he was,
yeah.
catching the
His
passes.
his touchdown receiving was one of the more impressive screen pass touchdowns you'll see if you really like football, because the way he slowed up and set up his blocks on that. And it's fun when you get to watch from above so you can see it all like playing out and
Right.
you're like, oh no, 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 because he was taken off. And then you realize, oh, I'm gonna outrun my blockers. Like, he's gonna run right past the offensive lineman. It wasn't gonna turn out well. And then he caught himself and he's slow. He was basically walking at one point so the offensive lineman can catch up, get in front of him, and then they mauled everybody. And then he made one move and was in the end zone. Like, that is
I
elite
mean,
patience. Fast is slow.
yes.
Slow is fast sometimes in football, and that was really, for a sophomore. Like, that shows like the running back he could be. Taj Brooks was always really good at that, setting up his blocks and stuff. That's like veteran level football, like running back skills. So I don't
Oh
know. That
yeah.
was my favorite part of Jacoby this week. Was not all the shifty stuff is fun and the breaking people's ankles. A lot of people can do that, but not a lot of people have that patience, especially as a sophomore. A lot of people, that would have been about a 15, 20-yard gain, would have been hype. A lot of people don't score right there because they run right past their blockers. So shout out him.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And then Terrence Carter Jr., Shelby, the president, CEO, executive, all that
All
of
the
the
board.
fan club,
Y'all can join the
secretary.
boardroom if you'd like. I'll make a seat
Yes.
for you. But
She'll try
yeah,
to make a seat for you, but she has most of the seats already taken.
me and
But
that Twitter
six,
account that popped up for him, the
yes.
Terrence Carter worshiper, he's in the boardroom now. But other people can join.
But yeah, 6 receptions, 102 yards, and 1 touchdown. And he also had like a crazy play as well, too, in this game. I mean, he almost got that touchdown. He was so close, so close. I mean, he was just
Yeah, he almost had
sprinting at it,
two
and then they ended
touchdowns.
up
Yeah,
getting
he
him.
hurdled a dude.
Yes, hurdled him.
And then
Yes,
he
and
drugged
then he
people.
just
I mean, he is literally open. I
a
mean, he
beast.
won't be once we get to better competition, but he'll still be open most of the time. He was, I swear, he was open 90% of the routes he ran on this because, president of his fan club, CEO, all the things. So I'm like watching him most plays. And you could see, like, but the touchdown he scored, the person next to me, I said, Terrence Carter's going to be wide open on this. Throw it to Terrence. And because they had a freaking linebacker that was like trying to like late recover and get over there, I was like, he's not gonna be able to guard him. Wheel route up the side, wide open, wide open. And I said, told
Yep.
you, told you. It was like, if I can see that, Baron Morton can see that. You know what I mean? Like it. They just, if they line up the wrong person against him, it's over. And they did that a few times. Like, you can't be putting these linebackers on Terrence Carter. And then you put a DB on him, and they can stay with them. But after he catches it, they can't tackle him. And that's the one where you were talking about he almost scored. Is they
Right.
were there, and then he's just like dragging these people like their kids hanging onto his ankle, and he fell down at the 2. So we're gonna get into some teams that have guys that maybe can match up a little bit better, but he's a man amongst boys out there right now, and he did have a little bit of a shoulder thing at the end of the game. Looked like a stinger to me, and then Joey echoed that in the post game that he was hopeful it was a stinger and it's just like a pain tolerance thing. But other than that, great night for Terrence Carter. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
Keep going
Keep
for
it
the
up.
Mackey. Make my prediction look real good.
Yeah. And then some crazy stats that we have for you, because we had another shutout in the
Oh,
first half. Texas Tech has outscored their opponents in the first half 123-0. And Shelby, how long has it been since that point differential has been that big?
2015 is what the broadcast said supposedly. I didn't fact check this, but that's what
Supposedly.
Fox said. So take that for like 50% chance of being correct. But they said apparently on the broadcast that is the best first half point differential in the NCAA since 2015.
Wow.
And that's on our defense. We scored that many points ourselves for sure, if not more in the first half
Right.
in our first 3 games, I'm sure. But that's why when people are like, do it against someone real, totally get that argument. We're going to have to prove it. But you're talking to someone that's watched their team almost lose to ACU. You're talking to someone that watched their team lose to Wyoming in recent years. I mean, Wyoming's a good program. ACU was really good last year. I get it. But that's not power conference, teams.
Right.
And we were losing or almost losing to them, giving up 60 points or whatever it was to ACU. So, yes, our starters have not given up any points this year. I don't care who you're playing. That is impressive. And Joey,
Very.
I'm paraphrasing now because I don't have it in front of me, but he talked about in the post game, and he said that some of those older guys like Romello and David and they were like talking to him like during the game, that they came up to him on the sidelines and was like, Coach, we're really good. And he said, when you have veterans coming up to you and telling you that as a coach, you're like, yeah, we are, and like we can't waste this, I think is what they said. And that's true. Like they know. I think offensively, I'm more like, how is our offense gonna hold up when Barron doesn't have 14 years to throw? When we can't get away with one
Right.
bad pass and we can hit it on the next play. How is that gonna work? How are we gonna defensively be able to stop a running quarterback? Things like that. But our pass rush, as long as they're all healthy, which Romello Hype played, so the rumors of his demise were greatly exaggerated. He was fine. And if they're all healthy, then that defense is good. You can say that for sure. There's some question marks, but that front four, there's not really. I don't have any question marks about those. So, very exciting stuff happening, Tyler.
Yes, very exciting stuff. And then just like one thing that maybe I mean, obviously it's been an issue with the penalties, but we did have 10 penalties that came up for 80 yards. I will say there was one play in the game, and I don't remember who. Obviously, Barron was involved, but I don't remember who exactly broke it. But um, it was 1st and 35, and we
Jacoby,
were able
yeah.
to get a first. Yeah, I think it was Jacoby. Yeah, well, he was able to. I mean,
It was a
like it was
pass, but yeah,
nothing. Yeah. Got it. He got it. We were able to convert that, but obviously you're gonna have to clean that up because 10 penalties for 80 yards can be the difference of
for
a
sure.
game,
That's
honestly,
totally
especially when
fair.
you're playing Utah next week. But I mean, the fact that we're able to convert a 1st and 35 into a first down, I mean, I'll take it. I mean, gets almost half of the football field. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Cole Wisniewski, the safety, senior safety, he's one of the veterans on the team for sure. He won a national championship at North Dakota State in the FCS level. We've talked about him before. Great player. Hasn't a lot of action this year. And he talked about that in the press conference. He's like, yeah, it was fun to get to do some things in this game. They finally threw at him. He had a sack. But someone asked him like, do you see in this team the traits that you saw on the championship teams that he was a part of at North Dakota State? They're always winning conference. They won a national title, like I said. And he said basically, yeah, but this was his full quote, which I thought was the quote of the press conference. And he said, one thing you recognize on championship teams, and this is just my observation in years that we, North Dakota State, won and then years we didn't win, is you have players that put the work in. No one's complaining. The leaders on this team, you're not going to hear complaints come out of their mouth. They're going to go get the work done. And that's huge because if bad plays happen, it's not going to get negative out there. It's going to be all right. It's what's next. How do we handle it? What's next? And that's what you said. 1st and 35.
Yes.
Past year's teams were at least punting. Like, it's probably not going to, no matter who we're playing, like, it's probably not going to get picked up. This team didn't just pick it up. It was one play, and it was like it never happened. So,
Right.
yeah, we're going to find that out. You're about to go play, and we'll preview that game later in the week, but playing one of the toughest environments in college football, and you're really going to
10 in
test
the
out.
morning local time.
Yeah. And I bet that crowd will still be pretty rowdy anyway.
Yeah.
And you're going to really test that, and they have a running quarterback, and our defense is going to be tested like they haven't been this year, but I don't know. They have the intangibles going for them. They're saying the right things. Now we get to go see them do it. So I'm really excited about this team. They're not back home for a while either. Like
Right. Not
homecoming,
until like October.
that October 11th BYU game.
Yes. That's their next time at home. Against Kansas.
Because they have Utah coming up on the road, a bye, and then Houston on the
Houston,
road.
yes.
So it's a bit before we get to watch them in person again, but watch them on TV bright and early.
Big noon kickoff.
Yeah, don't embarrass ourselves on Big Noon Kickoff, please.
It's
We
not,
won't.
please.
We're not going to embarrass ourselves. But I think we're picked to lose anyway, so losing wouldn't be an embarrassment.
Bet. Let's be an underdog.
Bet. Let this team be underdogs. I think that's a good place for this team to be. I think they'll
Yes.
handle that appropriately. So we'll talk more about that in the preview episode later this week. It might come out early or this week, maybe a Thursday episode instead of a Friday, since soccer plays on Friday night against Baylor, but we'll figure that out. You'll see us in that. That's football. We'll talk more then. Closing this show out with volleyball. Tyler, we sort of got to watch them again. They seem to be struggling a little bit with putting away teams that they should be able to beat sooner, but they did at least beat them in Southern Utah and who they played the final game against.
UC San
UC San
Diego.
Diego, but they both went to 5 sets. But a win is a win. They did get swept by Northern Arizona, which their record's good this year, but they were picked to finish seventh. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It doesn't look great on paper for them. They're very young, though, and so the hope is getting back home. Maybe they can clean some things up. It's just the errors. And I mean, even the game you watched, the announcers were like a little bit befuddled themselves in the Northern Arizona game because they could kind of see some of the talent we had and could see like, oh wow, that's a big swing, and like they can kind of see it, but then they just kept saying like it's a little bit weird, like it's just self-inflicted wounds for Texas Tech. They're kind of beating themselves, and it feels like every run that Northern Arizona is going on is because Texas Tech is making mistakes, and that's the announcer saying that, not me. So that's what was happening. So I don't know how you clean that up. It feels like that's a consistent theme. So I don't know if that's a youth thing. I don't know what, but one positive, and then I'll let Tyler take over about what's happening. He'll give you the stats too, but Reagan Engler, I think, is like the second player in the last 2 decades at Texas Tech to start the season with double doubles in the first however many games, 9 games of the year in a row, which is really impressive because she's moved from middle blocker to outside hitter, which is kind of unprecedented. So she deserves a lot of credit. Like, this is the player
Yes,
they're playing. I mean, they're playing
for sure.
hard. Like, this is not an effort thing at all. And she's doing everything she can to try to help this team win, and even changing positions, and is kind of breaking records while she's doing that as well. So credit her. There's some good things happening. It's just like the consistency is a little bit all over the place. They have one more weekend, and it's back home. No travel finally. Maybe that'll help them, Tyler. What do you think?
Yeah. I got to see the NAU game. I think we all did, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it was like we were giving 6 points up just based off of our own errors. We either weren't
Yeah.
serving inside the lines, or we were just tripping over each other. There was a lot of tripping over each other. That needs to get
Just
fixed really
communication
fast.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just so many miscommunication and mispositioning.
That's what.
I mean, let's
It's
be
not an
real. We
effort
should.
issue. If anything, it's an over effort issue. Like, everybody's going for the ball at the
Yes.
same time. Like, they want. Like, it's not like a disengaged thing. It's just like they need to communicate more.
Yes, for sure. They need to communicate. I mean, like, yeah, it's okay to get aced every once in, I mean, it's never okay to get aced, but it's okay to get aced every once in a while. But it seemed like NAU is just acing us, like, just in these open holes. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, we need to be able to get there and respond well. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, at least, I mean, the team did post, I think, yesterday after they beat UC San Diego that, hey, I mean, they've won another weekend of volleyball tournament. So there's a positive side on that. They are coming out 2-1. I
It's true.
mean, that is something, I guess,
It would have
in a
been
sense.
really bad if they didn't win Southern Utah and didn't beat UC. I mean, that's true.
Right.
It's
Yes,
just like Big 12 play is right around the corner. So, but I'm not
for
gonna
sure.
like be like the season's over. Like, it's very early,
Yeah,
so it's on them to show that they
it
can
is.
get better. That's what non-con is for.
Yeah.
We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, we will. But yeah, just some stat leaders in the Southern Utah five-set thriller. Reagan Angler had 14. Callie, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. We've tried before. Had 9 kills. Aaliyah McDonald had 5 aces. KC led you with 2 of those. Blocks, Aaliyah McDonald led us with 5. Tatum Johnson had 4. Reagan Angler had 3 assists. KC had 43. Sierra Grizzle had 5. And then in digs, Sierra Grizzle had 15. Reagan had 10, and then Casey had 9. We're just gonna remember. We're just going to forget that NAU happened, and we're going to move over to the five-set thriller win against UC San Diego. Ashlyn Bellamy, she actually led in kills with 18. Addie Knuff led with was second with 13, and then
Sophomores, I
Reagan Engler had
think, right?
11. Yes, all sophomores other than Reagan, I believe. So
Yeah.
pretty impressive right there. I love how like I think each game when I read off these, it's like Reagan, yeah, she's obviously always going to be in that mix, but it seems like there's always someone new stepping up, whether it's the freshman Kenna McKenzie, Addie Knuff, Ashlyn Bellamy. I mean, it just seems like Callie, the girl from overseas, it just seems like we're all just kind of everyone's trying to step up, right, and trying to do the thing to try to get us that win. So that's been good to see. Aces, Sierra Grizzle led us with 4. Blocks, Addie led us in 5. Aaliyah with 3 assists. Peyton had 37. That's just what she does. Sierra had 9. And then in digs, Sierra did her thing again, 21. Peyton had 13. And then Reagan had 8. those are your stats from the past 3 games this weekend. And as we said, you can watch them at home, buy your tickets. Their big game that they play is against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 4-3 on the season. We'll talk more about it, but they should be able to beat Ole Miss. But just bring the energy, get your tickets early, and try to be there because it'll be the only sporting event in Lubbock for the
That's
next
true
week,
outside
honestly.
of fall ball for softball, but like those don't
Yeah,
actually count. They're playing each other, so go to the volleyball
right.
match.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. I'm a little bummed, but maybe the next week or they're on the road. Whenever I'll be there eventually to get some pictures and stuff. But I'm glad that for their sake they're finally back. We know the reason why they were fixing the court, but that's tough. So that's why I'm like
It is.
not really trying to be like too harsh. Like those
Right.
results weren't great, but they did find a way to win, and the hope is, yeah, we've been traveling every single week for the past 3 weeks, and that is exhausting.
Literally.
Like to think about
Yes.
traveling, and it's been like across country, like we were on the East Coast, now we're in Arizona, so it's been long travel. We don't really have time to practice, so hopefully getting back to Lubbock and having a little time to regroup and fix some of those mistakes. Because again, it's like their own mistakes. Like when they look good,
Yes.
like I thought they looked better against Georgia than when I watched
For
Northern
sure.
Arizona,
I agree
and
too.
that's why it was weird. So I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on, and I am not qualified to tell you why there
Me
was a
either.
change. But like you saw, hey, we look better. Like let's play more. Like if they can get back to that, I think they could win some games at least against equal competition. And we'll leave
For
it there.
sure.
But we'll see. We'll talk more about their games this weekend later in the week as well. But that's volleyball for you. Fall ball, I don't have the schedule in front of me. But if you want to go watch softball, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they probably play Tuesday and Thursday again. That's been fun. I'll
Probably.
probably go to at least one of those, maybe both, because there's not any things in town this week. But I'll be there, and we can talk about those in our next show as well. At least the Tuesday game, because we'll record probably Wednesday. But yeah, anyway, that's going on. And then, yeah, we'll see y'all later in the week. We will maybe see you for a special episode before our recap episode. If something happens before then, the people that made it
Hmm.
to the very end of the episode, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, eyes peeled, head on a swivel. New Red Raiders potentially on the way. All right, Tyler. That's all I got. Any last thoughts before we close out?
No, that's all that I got.
All right. Rag 'em.
Wreck